Hello everyone, welcome to GED. Today we have a chicken thigh with some teriyaki sauce, and we're talking about my personal review of the 4 Javelins in Anthem. So guys, this meal is simple. It's simple, delicious, amazing. Chicken thigh with a drumstick attached, some seasoning on top, and we got some ginger teriyaki sauce from Japan. It's all superb. Using a knife and fork because I don't know, I don't want to get too messy here. So I had a chance to play the entire Anthem beta, VIP, and normal, right? Coming up. So I've played all 4 Javelins between my account and a couple of friends' accounts, which, you know, we technically swapped, but don't tell EA that. We kind of, you know, changed computers and tried it out. Here's some beautiful chicken meat, right? So my personal review of the 4 Javelins incoming after this first bite. Oh yeah, that teriyaki sauce is amazing. So first off, the Ranger, your starting class. I mean, the Ranger is good. I like the Ranger. In fact, I'm going to main the Ranger in Anthem when it comes out full retail. Why? Because I like how the Ranger plays. I like all the weapons the Ranger can use. Which is basically everything from shotgun and pistol to sniper rifle and LMG. I like being able to have that freedom, that versatility in my arsenal, basically. I feel like the Ranger, in its current iteration, is the wave clear guy. Like, he clears base enemies so quickly, so fast. He's not a super hard boss destroyer or a elite killer, but man, he clears out enemies, and he does it in style. Plus, me personally, my own playstyle kind of lends it to the run gun and the shoulder mounted predator cannon, basically, of the Ranger. To me, is one of the coolest ultis. I don't know why. It's just awesome to be able to lock on to all these multi-targets or one big target and just blow them away. I'm trying to find the drumstick here so I can kind of separate it. It's kind of hard with knife and fork. We'll get to it. So yeah, for me, Ranger. I like Ranger. It's cool. It's awesome. It's got the firepower needed to take down the enemy or small enemies in a timely, quick fashion. Hit points and shields are also fairly well balanced on the Ranger. Then you have the Colossus. The Colossus was the second Javelin I tried on my account. And the Colossus, to me, was also really fun. Like the heavy firepower, the autocannon / Gatling gun of the Colossus. Oh man, it is so much fun to just hold down that trigger and start blowing people away. Its shoulder-mounted cannon and arm cannon, depending on what comes out for the Colossus, could be extremely great. The mortar felt really fun. It felt really tactile, I want to say. The arm-mounted cannon, there's a lot of variation in it. You can get a lot of different types of abilities for it. But to me, the Colossus just kind of felt like a slower, version of the Ranger, it wasn't really my style. Because abilities for the Colossus are kind of slow, in my opinion. They take a long time to activate. You have to either charge them up or specifically target them while you're just kind of loafing around. And I didn't really like that. I like the more mobile version of the Ranger. In my opinion, again. Your mileage may vary. I mean, the Colossus does have a bunch of coolness to him. He's beefy, he's tanky, he can slug through enemies. And his ulti, when you're firing those 3 nukes, so satisfying. He just wasn't my cup of tea. If you like tanks, if you like being the linchpin of a group and making sure all the enemies are focused on you while your teammates blast them away, Colossus is definitely for you. But you can do blasting yourself. Colossus damage is totally on par with all the other classes. Then I got to try Storm. And I think Storm is going to be the class that most people play. Because Storm has all these types of abilities. Fire, ice, lightning. Crazy, crazy damaging ulti. And Storm just seems to be like, if you want to deal high damage in a short amount of time to not as big of an area as the Ranger, but you want to, definitely take out key targets, Storm is definitely for you. Storm reminds me kind of like Iron Man style. Because with a Storm, you can literally fly forever. You can just hover around, blasting people, unleashing lightning, ice, and fire. And in, I believe, late game, Storm is going to be like one of the key factors for doing combos. Because tons of Storm abilities set up combos or destroy them. And in Anthem, or at least in the beta, combos do massive damage. Like, I would say 5 or 6 times damage in combos than like normal abilities. They just melt enemies. Speaking of combos, almost every class can set up or detonate combos. So, I mean, it's kind of like what you want to play, but Storm definitely has more combos than the other ones, the other Javelins. And it's just satisfying flying around, shooting heavenly destruction down on the enemies. So yeah, I think a lot of people are going to play Storm. It's just how, I guess the I can't even think of the word. The player base is going to go. But then on the other hand, in late game content, I feel like the Ranger, because it has like a damage shield, and then Storm has a damage shield wall, those two classes are going to synergize so well at keeping people alive. Because you can drop those damage shields and just survive for a long time. Like if you want to revive an ally or just hold a point for damage, you're dropping your anti-ranged attack damage shields, and you're just camping there while you blast away. And even in the beta, we've experienced that a lot. It's a highly beneficial move. One of the best support moves in the game are the Storm's wind wall and the Ranger's Bulwark. Then lastly, we have the Interceptor. Oh, what can I say about the Interceptor? Me, personally, I did not like it. I don't like the flippy, jumpy, run really close to enemies gameplay style. Check out this crispy chicken skin. Chicken skin is the best part of the chicken, by far. I think the biggest part of the Interceptor that I didn't like was that he just has to be so close most of the time. All of his weaponry is close range except for like sniper rifles and glaives, and you're just getting too close to enemies that, quite frankly, on harder difficulties, if you're close to the enemy, you're not going to have time to run away. When your health starts dropping and they start auto-targeting you and just laying into you. Yes, Interceptor ulti does make them technically invulnerable, but if you're not in that ulti, you're kind of caught out because you're not running for cover. You're too close to the enemies all the time. It's also one of the reasons I personally didn't like a few weapons, like the the auto pistols and kind of the shotguns. Shotguns kind of do a lot of damage, but they do require you to be within a certain distance for max damage. So yeah, weaponry is definitely going to play a factor, and that's also kind of why I like the base default Ranger, because he gets so many varieties of weapons. But I digress. Interceptor, a lot of people will love it. A lot of people that like to go ham on the enemy and just rage in their face with all sorts of attacks, kind of roguish attacks. But just not for me. Not for me personally. Your mileage may vary. Well, I pretty much tore this apart, and I gave you, my initial thoughts on the 4 Javelins. If you'd like to know more about what I thought, please message me below. I'd love to hear what you guys thought about the beta, if you played it, if you experienced something unique in the Javelins, like skills or weaponry. And I hope Anthem turns out to be a fun time, because I'll definitely be in there with y'all, blasting away some enemies. Remember to game, eat, and discuss, and I'll catch you in the next one.